Alright people, so I'm here with your Smackdown review. And I don't know if this was me, it wasn't me. I know for a fact that I'm looking at this show and let me count the segments. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 segments and with a long ass main event. So I mean, they really had like 7 segments in an hour and a half, and then the last one was like 25 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. So, I mean, everything seems short except the main event. I mean, this is not how you run a wrestling show. You don't have fucking 10 5-minute matches. So stupid. So let's get into this show. We get our opening promo where they announce new belts. I mean, we've kind of heard about this, rumors at least, for a little bit now. You know, I'm glad that they're announcing new belts because I'm all for new belts because that creates new feuds. So, you know, obviously I don't want fucking like 12 belts, but I mean, you know, I don't want like 20 belts or anything like that, but, you know, I'm happy that they announced new belts now for Smackdown. That's a good thing to do. So then Heath Slater comes out. It was kind of funny. He had, coming out of the crowd, he had the free agent t-shirt on, and then he says, you know, he wants to contend for these titles, and then Daniel Bryan said he doesn't have the parts to contend for the Divas title. That was a little kind of funny there. And then Ziggler and Styles start a brawl. You know, because Styles was kind of giving Ziggler a little shit earlier in the show, so then they start brawling there. And, you know, you got Styles walking around saying, you know, he's the face of the company, or, you know, he's the face now. Cena wasn't even there this week, which I don't get. So, overall, I thought this was a pretty good segment. You know, I like the announcement of the new belts. It's a good thing for the company. And also, you know, a little comedy there with Heath Slater. Then we have the Usos defeating the Ascension. I actually think, I don't know if this was the second or the third match. I'm going to mix these up, the order, but whatever. The Usos defeat the Ascension. Just a fucking short, boring match between two jobber tag teams that doesn't mean anything. Waste of time, waste of energy. Complete waste. 0 out of 5 stars. Then we have this is what I'm talking about. Short fucking matches. Then we have Becky Lynch defeating Alexa Bliss in another short, boring fucking match. I mean, another match that sucked. So I gave this a half star out of 5. Was not as bad as the Usos and the Ascension, but it was still pretty bad. I mean, you know, the Divas division, nobody gives a shit about them. And these two people aren't really that exciting to me, you know, especially Alexa Bliss, who has not done shit in this company yet. So yeah, I give that a half star out of 5. Then we have Styles coming out to cut a promo. Once again, a short fucking promo. You know, he comes out. I mean, he just beat John Cena. You figure they could give him a decent amount of time to talk, but they only give him a couple minutes really. You know, so he, you know, cuts his little promo there, and then Ziggler comes out, and they start to fucking talk, and it didn't really last too long until Shane McMahon came out and announced the match between the two of them to determine the #1 contender. So, you know, it wasn't much. There was no promo developed between these two because they didn't give him enough fucking time. I mean, if they would have given him like 10-15 minutes, you could have had an interesting little promo between the two people. But instead, they only gave him a couple minutes each to talk, and it just didn't come together good. Then we have Carmella just beating up Nikki Bella for like a minute. Just, again, a waste of time, a waste of my time. You know, and I don't get, you know, Nikki Bella just came back, and now she's already getting her ass kicked by a no-name, you know, this no-name chick named Carmella, you know, named after fucking a candy. I mean, what the fuck is going on here? Then we have Orton and Bray Wyatt cutting a promo. Once again, it was short. You have Orton coming out there, you know, basically responding to his ass kicking. Again, it seemed like they only talked for a few minutes. And then you get Bray Wyatt coming out there saying, hey Randy. I find this laughable. He comes out there and he's like, hey Randy, you could feel pain. You could, you're a normal guy. But me, I'm a god. Okay, you're a god, but you're a jobber though. Yeah, that makes sense. You're a fucking god, but you're a jobber god. That's what Bray Wyatt is now. The jobber god. He comes out there and he calls himself a god, but he's a jobber. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't fucking do that. Undertaker, okay, now you could do that. Because, Undertaker, look at Undertaker. He's a fucking legend. Bray Wyatt, no. And it's funny, too, because Bray Wyatt also lost to Brock Lesnar, so what the fuck is he talking about? He's a god. And he just fucking, he hasn't won in like a month. Since they beat the New Day, I don't think he's won shit. So this promo made no sense. So apparently we're gonna get an Orton Bray Wyatt feud now. I mean, I'm no fan of Orton. Bray Wyatt's a jobber, so I don't really see this feud going to, maybe we'll get some interesting promos. You do have the aspect of, Orton kind of being this sadistic guy, and Bray Wyatt, same thing, except he kind of calls himself a god. So maybe they'll do some interesting shit, but I don't know. We'll have to see on that. Then we have American Alpha defeating Breeze Dongo, and holy shit, they actually gave him like 10 minutes to wrestle a fucking match. This had to be between 10 and 15 minutes about. And holy shit, this is what happens when you give tag teams, or just people in general, matches in general, a decent amount of time. If you give a match fucking 5 minutes or less, or even like 7 or 8 minutes or less, most times, especially if it's like under 5 minutes, it's going to suck. Because there's no time for it to develop. And it's just not going to be too good. This, however, it wasn't a short match. You gave it a good amount of time. American Alpha seems like a pretty fucking good tag team. They got good fucking moves. They are good wrestlers. So, excuse me, I'm fucking tired here. It's late at night, but should probably be in bed by now. But I'm up reviewing Smackdown. But anyway, I gave this match 3 out of 5 stars. Even though American Alpha was taking on a jobber tag team, a goofball tag team in Fandango and Tyler Breeze, still, they combined to put on a good match. Even though you knew who was going to win, I still found the match good. So yeah, 3 out of 5 stars. Then we have your main event, Styles defeating Ziggler. And then they gave it a lot of time, yes. This match started, I think, like 20... I was looking at the clock, I think like 26 minutes before the show ended. And, I mean, it wasn't as good as I hoped. I mean, I didn't even think it was good. First off, you have 2 commercial breaks. Why? Why would you have 2 commercial breaks in between the fucking match? It just fucks up the flow and the momentum. I get one. Most, probably all television shows will not broadcast for 23 minutes straight. I get that, unless it's like soccer or something. So I get, okay, I have 1 short commercial here. But 2, come on. I mean, it just, again, it fucks up the flow of the match. And I gotta say, I was once a big fan of Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I still kind of am. But, I mean, he's really not been impressive in the last couple of years. In the past year or 2. I mean, can you really name one, good match he's had? Now, granted, yes, he's been a jobber. But, I mean, still, you don't see fucking talent in him. I mean, even if you look at Kevin Owens, they haven't given him yes, he beat Cena, but so did Ziggler. I mean, Ziggler's had opportunities, and he's come through. But I mean, even if you look at Owens, I mean, Owens was demoted. Owens was, once going downhill in this company, but I mean, he's still shine through. He still shines through to this day, and he's funny. People like him. But I mean, if you look at Ziggler, he just doesn't do that. He doesn't go out there and put on good matches anymore. I mean, his match at SummerSlam, quite frankly, sucked. And this match wasn't that good. I mean, he had an opportunity here to go head-to-head with a guy who's put on 2 straight good matches with Cena. one-on-one matches with Cena, and they just did not put on a good match. I thought it was mediocre. I think they just did their normal moves. There was nothing unique. There was nothing exciting, really. And people start chanting. I think there was a "This is awesome" chant. People start chanting "This is awesome" about why? Because Ziggler super kicked them, and then Styles kicked out at 2.5. That's not awesome. Again, that's just going through the motions. People get so worked up, so excited about just basic shit in this company. No, that's not something you should be chanting "This is awesome" to. That's something that's just a normal fucking move during the fucking match. It's not anything special, really. So I'm really pissed off at how low people's standards are for this company. But there you go, people. There's your SmackDown review. Show is not too good. Like I said, I gave that last match 2 out of 5 stars. And overall, I'm going to give this show 2.5 out of 10 stars. You had one good match there, the tag match between American Alpha and Breeze Dango. Pretty good segment to start off the show, but everything else really sucked. So, there you go, people. There's your SmackDown review.